I think that is how you should like an unplugged steel guitar.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick. That's fucking badass. Either that, or I just gotta sing, I gotta, get in, specifically Rockstar, Chad Kroeger Modus from the song Rockstar.
Yeah.
I'm a big rock star. We're over there with the movie stars.
Yeah. Okay, I remember this one. I'm still young and hot. I started recording. I got all of this.
You liked it?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, yeah. For those who don't know, I'm working on my singing for my not even really for anything musical related. Just I'm getting ready for my personal Chad Kroeger Nickelback rockstar moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
When am I gonna get rockstar pilled? Yeah. When am I gonna get Nickelback rockstar pilled?
I'm based in rock pilled.
No.
Based in rock pilled. I'm startup. Yeah, this is all a consequence of.
I don't know if anyone knows this about me, but I'm very much a Nickelback defender. I think we've talked about this.
We've talked about that, yeah. They definitely have lasted, and I naturally am an observer of the holiday Coca-Cola Roller Coaster Day, the anniversary of when Nickelback made a funk song.
That's right.
An important holiday in the Kieran calendar. It's March. At some point,
did I talk about this with you last week, or was I talking with Yulia about this? Or I feel this is very much an American phenomenon of the suburban parents who like Nickelback, and they're they're a little bit freakier, my sister's fiance was telling me about how he would carpool to football practice, American football practice, making it even more fitting that the suburban parents are taking their two kids in Texas to football practice, and they just loved Nickelback, but they would play the raunchy Nickelback songs while taking these high school kids to drop them off. And it just seemed like such a vibe that just seemed too familiar for some reason.
Right, yeah.
It's just there's those weird, freaky, upper middle class, white American parents.
Yeah, I think it's the phenomenon of the parents who maybe are trying.
They're trying to be the cool parents.
Yeah, they're trying a little too hard to stay current.
Yeah.
And have kind of maybe missed the mark a little bit, or have found a current band that they have not realized was probably targeted at them to begin with.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. This is not what the kids are listening to.
Well, that was the thing that was so funny is that I remember there was one time there's a marathon in Phoenix called the.
Sorry, do you remember the way everyone talked about the Royal Tenenbaum soundtrack and stuff like that? Imagine if you were the guy who was oh yeah, the Spider-Man soundtrack. I'll wait for a hero to save me. Just just the scene from fucking
Scorpion King soundtrack really spoke to me.
But the scene.
What's the movie with Aaliyah in it?
Shit, I don't know.
Queen of the Damned.
I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. The new metal movie genre. But I'm just imagining the scene from fucking Garden State where Zach Braff is handed the headphones, and it's just I will have a hero to save me. instead of
the Shins or whatever.
The Smiths, I think.
Oh my god, yeah. No. Well, what we were talking about Nickelback? I don't. I got derailed now.
Sorry, you said something about Arizona. Softball practice? Did I hear that, or am I just imagining American things?
Softball.
Did you mention apple pie?
No, I mentioned football practice of my sister's fiance, but yeah, no, there's something about the Nickelback parent that's very funny.
The Nickelback parent, I feel like, was was no stranger to something I encountered in my brief time in the United States, like for a month or whatever in Seattle, which was the Three Doors Down parent.
The like proud RNC, like
well, like this is before their turn, I guess. They were kind of like the new band. This is their first album. I remember it specifically, it was just after 9/11 because airport was a fucking nightmare to get through when I was flying to Seattle. So this was like 2002. So yeah.
And I
encountered the Three Doors Down parent. I didn't think much of it at the time. I was just like, I guess that's a band I've listened to.
Now that family votes Republican.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me? Rich suburban Seattle? Absolutely. They are the Republican Party of Seattle. Like
that's true, yeah.
Yeah. There's like God, I wish you could map the bands to the states. I wish there was like a state divide of like it's the Nickelback parents in Arizona, and then it's like the Three Doors Down parents.
Oh yeah, Nickelback parents 100% would be in Arizona. I remember when I was like it was the first time I ever drank, which is really funny.
Hell yeah.
I went with my aunt and we went to like Mexico because it's like right there.
Yes.
Near Arizona. And her friends were like kind of Nickelback parents.
Okay.
So they were all like they were like, yeah, we got this new cool album given. I was like, this is like my I was in like freshman year of high school or whatever. And I'm with my aunt on like a vacation and her friends are just like blasting like Nickelback. And they're just like, this is the sickest shit. And yeah, like
Nick, I got a film for He's Gonna Change Your Life, Spider-Man 1.
Yeah.
The first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, and it really is like they really don't like get that band is completely targeted exactly to them. It's
yeah.
Like, hey, did you like Motley Crue? You're gonna love Nickelback. You're gonna love Alabama Man.
Alabama Man. We need you to check out this photograph. Hey.
It is your weekly corner, Späti. None of that bonus bullshit that
Boo!
So
please keep giving us money.
If the episodes have felt that they're a little bit more cash lately,
yeah,
it's because the last bonus and this current episode right now is being recorded in probably one of the most janky ass casual ways that we have managed to record, which then has really changed the entire mood of how we're kind of dealing with this. I'm just kind of going with the flow because you and I are. Looks like we're weirdly interviewing each other. I really don't like this.
For people at home, from behind the scenes, parting the kimono a little bit, the more fucked way of saying behind the scenes, parting the kimono, to reveal the treats inside.
Never do that.
Never do that
again.
Anyway, so what we're doing here is instead of having our individual mics that we would hold and do a little bit of mic control, sometimes not to Nick's liking, and he would yell at us, we have a single condenser mic going for the whole room, which means that we're like huddled around this one mic at the moment, and also I'm in a lovely little DDR chair that makes me look very professional, and I am interviewing Nick for some sort of like, we did this bit already, I think, the 50s smoke-filled
exactly
chat show that was
I'm just being interviewed for being hot.
Yeah.
So I have no actual talent.
Yeah, no, it's 1956. We've invented being hot. Take that, Soviets. Here with a hot guy.
Who is absolutely not a communist. By no means whatsoever.
New research has shown that not only do we find women attractive, but they find us attractive too. Nick, tell us about that.
What's up?
So, you're just like wearing shades.
Yeah. So we have in our, relaxed new, 2023 mode of we haven't really been able to properly record, I think, an episode yet this year in a normal format.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be fucked next time we do it as well, which is next week when we're all available for the episode.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I need to catch up on those episodes before we. Yeah. Anyway, coming soon.
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
So I thought that we would kind of, because you and Ted talked about Berlin elections.
That's right.
Was it a bonus or?
It was a bonus.
I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
Fuck that! I wasn't honest.
I assume that you're right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys touched on like we touched on it too at the beginning of the year, of the quite transformative nature of like the Berlin media landscape that really kind of contributed to the CDU, you know.
Yeah, we mostly focused, for people who aren't behind the paywall, which I guess includes my co-host Nick. We did focus on like just the campaign and what the politicians themselves were kind of saying.
Yeah, okay.
And how they were acting, rather than like. And yeah, we did talk about this at the beginning of the year. We did mention like a big part of that election was the whole like CDU demanding that like everyone who shoots a firework has to release their name unless it's not Muhammad and it's like Sebastian, in which case we don't care, and stop bringing
exactly.
it up.
So it was like that very much was at the forefront of, I think, the election this year, was that more or less fabricated story of the fireworks, a New Year's thing that then turned into a racist, witch hunt that then ended up being more or less over exaggerated with the damages that were done, and completely lied about who were the perpetrators. Didn't matter though, because
complete fucking flip as well, because like the conservatives in Germany, the CDU, CSU were traditionally the defenders of everyone's allowed, shoot fireworks, don't take my fireworks away from me.
Yeah. And same thing with then like the FDP and the media persons that go with it. We talked about this on like at the beginning of the year. But the thing that then is kind of also very interesting is how then that is, fast forward to where we are now, after the elections in Berlin, of how it kind of is something that's very frightening, that we're in this era too, where then this very far right media landscape has a lot of control, and that I think that we're going to be seeing there's going to be much more cohesive push rightward against the current as bad as the current government is in Germany.
Yeah,
I do not want the FDP CDU overlords. Yeah, in the next election, which is probably very likely, if also maybe the Greens too go along with them as well, because the Greens, from what it seems like, have flushed out any remotely coherent ideology of theirs.
The fundies are gone. The fundies are dead.
Yeah.
What's that line from Eminem? What happened?
Lose yourself in the music the moment you own it, you better never let it go.
No, what it was like, y'all never talk about Dre. He's locked up in my basement. What am I thinking of again?
Yeah.
Because that's what happened to the fundies. They're in Eminem's basement.
Fuck yeah, from the real Slim Shady.
Yeah.
Dr. Dre's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
and I know what you're talking about.
The fundies are dead.
You better lose yourself in the music the moment.
And Anna Baerbock. Just wait until Putin hears this. Dun 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 dun.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the idea. Yeah, that's the thing that then kind of also been before we take on the serious topic of that Germany's media landscape is probably the furthest right wing that it's been since, I don't know, maybe like the 60s. It feels like
beginning of this podcast, certainly.
Yeah, I mean, I've lived in this country for a decade, and I've seen. I mean, German media has always been reactionary. This is nothing new. The thing that then I find that's very scary about it right now is how that then's much more normalized within the global like right wing nationalist, internationalist deal is how, similarly to, say, countries like Hungary or the United States or I don't know about Poland's like media landscape and stuff, but that really weird conspiracy theories are also getting a lot of traction in major German media. Particularly, I saw a thing today of like Welt entertaining the idea of like mass groups of people being like permanently affected by the vaccine, which is like, of course, absolutely. This was even noted when
they picked up the like hand shaking video things that were being like Americans were posting.
Exactly. Well, so first thing first, that there were people, of course, 110%, as there is with any type of thing like this, people who had true negative side effects to the vaccine.
Sure.
That was that was admitted when this was being distributed, but then there is an incredibly small possibility that you can have this list of complications.
Yeah.
And that was, you had to sign a waiver saying that you were aware of that and that you were taking the risk for it.
Well, that's why you also had to wait 15 minutes after you got the shot. Yeah,
and like, don't get me wrong, I can understand in the sense that there's a bit of like, I as someone who like also did take the vaccine and stuff like that, I completely understand the skepticism around when, how, and how quick was rolled out this and that and that. And I would never, I really tried to be fair with people about if they didn't want to take the vaccine, because I can understand, especially with certain communities, that then like that's scary, And I was taught, it's like whenever you, particularly in the United States, if you look at then why there was so much hesitation from the Black American community, because of like just history, that's there is obviously apprehension that you can at least understand and sympathize with. However, what Welt is doing then is that then they're doing these articles of exactly
the privileged white Germans who are reading Welt are not
they're not concerned about the okay, what are like what's a serious discussion about then the implications of rolling out of mass medical program, especially in the sense of that. Then remember, the thing is too is that everyone has to remember that Germany never required the vaccine, like some countries did, say like Greece or France, especially if you worked in the public sector.
Oh right, they never did that. I mean, like the closest you did was the 3G, 2G stuff, where like you.
But it still kept it more or less in the sense that then if you wanted to participate, there was a way for them that you could, until there was a very short period, remember, where you had to be vaxxed to go and do certain things. But
to go into for people don't know, you had to be like vaccinated to go into like bars and restaurants
and movie theaters and stuff like that.
You like if you were avoiding the vaccine, it was like the end of your social life, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Which was like that was the last push that they did before they couldn't have made it a federal requirement, So the government made it very difficult for you to be able to like do stuff, of course. But
we forget, but like one of the big things that was happening in Germany was like the federal government just like not wanting to deal with it, wanting the states to deal with it, because it was their purview and a lot of the stuff, but then like the problem became coordination, where like people from Berlin were like banned from entering like Schleswig-Holstein and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was I mean, you know what, in hindsight, COVID it has me very once again scared and apprehensive for the next big global pandemic, because it really showed us that how expendable we are in the global system and whatnot.
There won't be another one, Nick. That would be lazy writing. We can't have it again.
Yeah. Right now we're having what it seems like that invisible alien weapons just like destroying the like infrastructure of the United States, it seems like. So
we've got the mysterious egg that showed up in the fucking Japan. We're all excited for the egg.
Yeah, there's that. There's, for some reason, just gas leaks are happening everywhere in the U.S. You know what? I'm fine with intergalactic's, secret, invisible war.
Yeah. It's space for the damn space noids. God damn.
But so the reason why, I mean, I guess this is much. I didn't write any notes on this. This is me strictly just going off of feel. Me feeling out the room and really feeling out just like that. I've always tried to be realistic. I feel in the sense of how to monitor Germany's like right wing media landscape of it. It's like it's normal reactionary right wing stuff, but it was always kind of like there was always a realm of it that was just kind of like the stories were always just all like culture war nonsense and very much pro-US kind of backings of things, but it never really.
I mean, that's newer. Like that's been ramped up, definitely.
This is, I guess you're right. Like, this has become...
like, under Trump, like, everyone in Europe was suddenly a fucking Gaullist. Yeah. We were all like, we're going to do our own thing. France has nukes. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. But it was like, now with the Biden administration, it's doubled down to like, okay, things are back to normal. Yeah. Responsible, good America, who's apparently wanting to, send us all to hell. They're the good ones. But that's not the stuff that then really troubles me, because that's expected. Yeah. Like, Europe loves complaining about that the U.S. is evil when it's a Republican in charge, and then a Democrat who does the exact same, if not worse, shit gets in charge.
I remember like the Irish equivalent of Hot Topic, which was a shop in Dublin called Asha. I remember them specifically selling like bedroom posters you could get of Bush quotes of like dumb things he said. And
then when Obama came, you could get like the Hope shirt.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. That's so sick. Yeah, Europe is fucking dumb in that regard. You guys need to realize that the sense of that just because I'm grumpy and I tell you that then the Democrats are just as evil as the Republicans, you need to take it as serious, because look at where we are now. We have Joe Biden in Poland. Oh my God, yeah, I forgot about hello Poland.
What was the hello Poland moment?
No, just at the beginning, they're just like all like
Oh,
they're just screaming for Biden, and he comes out and he goes, "Hello Poland."
He's kind of like he's from the Obama White House. He just wants a media job.
Yeah,
he just wants to be on Netflix. He just wants to get out in front of the stage and be like, "Hello, Poland."
I did, in fact, bring the walk to Poland. But
no offense to the job, but the Greeks, they make the best kibasas.
But yeah, so the thing though that with U.S. Atlanticism is back, it's in trend. USA #1 baby. That never. Like, it's annoying, but I always I don't like if that's their default under certain presidents, then that's the way that it is.
Yeah.
But it's not dealing in like a counterfactual world that is promoting these. I mean, yes, okay, maybe it like hides a bit of the truth with some of like the pro NATO shit, but that's always expected.
Yeah.
We're I hope that then that the people like who listen to our show are intuitive enough with the topic, familiar enough with the topic to kind of navigate that, that bullshit. But it is a bit hard. I wouldn't also like it, especially with how overtly pro NATO everything is. But the thing that's very much getting me, confused is or not really confused, but has me worried is the level of like one part like Europa bullshit, like the return stuff that say Politico has been doing lately, and the amount of then not even just the culture war stuff that then like that other Axel Springer things have been kind of like investing in more because they always have, but the things that are either more tabloid than before, which is saying a lot, or absolute bullshit, typical like ultra right wing conspiracy theory, like borderline Bill Gates, fucking whatever NWO, whatever shit they were on, during COVID or Q or whatever.
Yeah,
and I mean this has also been like pretty well known too, with like figures like Julian Reichert being a bit of, delving into that shit, trying to make himself into the current like Alex Jones now.
Yeah, he's got like his little army as well, like people going out to Lutzi and stuff like that, were like on his behalf, like he was down there. But
it really is like I mean I know that Germany's always late to the party with everything, and a decade later you finally have a German Alex Jones.
Oh yeah,
makes sense.
In 2 years' time, Germany will discover the whole like 15-minute city conspiracy thing that's now happening.
Yeah, and it really, I don't know, it really is something that is solidifying my theory that we are just, on the accelerationist trip towards, European fascism even more. And we have, I really would kind of argue the point that Axel Springer under Matthias Döpfner is in there, like, he's like kind of a Murdoch-ish character in a smaller scale for that type of thing.
Okay, so like there's two sides of this that I'm interested in, and hearing your kind of like differences, because we have in your kind of like assessments of it, we have Springer International and Springer Deutschland. Yeah, because I am, and for better or for worse, an avid reader of Politico.eu.
You're a freak, and you love to play in the slop.
I play in the mud with the rest of them, and I get the vibe based on things like what I know of Julian Reichelt, for example, that like what's happening in Springer Deutschland is probably up a little bit more. Like the international Springer stuff always tries to put a bit more of a respectable face on things.
Well, you say that, but then I feel that then because of the influx of the hilarity of European nationalism because of the Ukraine war. And Politico has really, like, made it their, like, odd mission to, like, justify not just the Ukrainian state, because there's not really a discussion to be had there. If you're saying that there's not, like, legitimacy of the, like, if Ukraine doesn't have sovereignty, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
However, this, like, origin of the Slavic or, like, the Kievan Rus and shit like that, Politico has had so many of these bizarre fucking articles of like, Ukraine is like the superior Slav and whatnot. Yeah. And that, yes, they're Europe. And it's just like...
It gets very like, they're one of the good ones kind of territory.
Yeah, and it's just so like, I'm just so, like, the insanity of... One, first off, this is one of those things that just continuously plays into the stupid Russian narrative that then Europe just can't, like, shed itself of any just, like, race science-y Nazi bullshit. And the thing that's so stupid about it is that, Russia's stupidly right about that. Not that they don't do it themselves, you know?
Oh, they love doing it.
They love doing that bullshit. But they can always just hilariously point to these dumb things. Of then you have some Politico sicko pulling out the Axel Springer branded fucking calipers and measuring the skulls of every Eastern Slav they can get their hands on, or the thing that they know because Russia has populations of non-white persons and this and that and that.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing always is Russia didn't force us to have that, like. Media very quickly learned, but there was that like first couple of months of like, oh, this time it's different. They're blonde and they're blue-eyed and they're white, kind of like discourse that was happening in like British and American media. Like that was fucked up and bad. And Russia had a fucking field day with that footage of like, look, we told you. And they're like, come on, guys, shape up.
Because this is the thing.
It's fucking end game here. Like,
I've tried to mention this as much as I can without trying to, again, as I said before, not talk about the Russia-Ukraine stuff, because the bits that we can talk about are always like, okay, like in context of things, of other events happening. But actually covering the war is something that we just obviously don't want to do and won't do. But it is kind of that thing that then, pointing to the sense of how we've talked about something on the show of how Russia's only thing is that they want to look good to countries in the global, like they don't care about influencing Europe. That's it. They've given up on that. If Russia can be this bizarre, weird, anti-imperialist, but like also like conservative moralist power or like beacon for other countries. That's the goal for it right now. So any of the things that can show Russia like, oh, hey, you see, Europe's being really racist to, us because we're a multicultural society in big fucking quotation marks,
big
which
quotes.
is like, yeah. And we saw with the mobilization thing that it's very, Russia very much cracks down on, their ethnic minorities to go and,
they
fight
conscripted some of them first and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So it's like, obviously Russia will just do the, anything to then make Europe, which Europe rightfully is bad and racist and this and that, but to then kind of get this propaganda machine of Russia being this like counter hegemony that it actually isn't. It's just still kind of the same bullshit, just wrapped up different and with a bit more psychotic of a vibe with it too. But
vibes are off.
Speaking of weird shit, just on a complete different note, I don't know why this got like no attention, but God, I'm doing that thing that I hate. Oh, media's not paying attention to this thing. There was a really funny thing that kind of slipped under the radar that I wish more people picked up on, that Zelensky was going around doing speeches saying that Putin didn't exist.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he spoke at Humboldt University.
Sure.
A few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, and there was like a week or 2 week long period where he just kept repeating the same thing, that Vladimir Putin's not real. He doesn't think that Vladimir Putin is alive.
Okay.
And then you can I'll find the article for you. I'll send it if it's still up. But it was very weird, and I kept seeing the same. It was like a very similar headline, like 3 or 4 days in a row, of him saying, and he did it and then stopped. Like, he kept saying this wacky thing, and then I guess someone in his camp was like, "Shut the fuck up! This is so weird. You're coming off as so kooky." But that's all I wanted to say, is that, you know what, maybe Zelensky does know something that we don't know. Maybe Vladimir Putin is just I don't know.
He is incredibly load bearing. Like, this is something that's like talked about all the time of like, oh, we need to get rid of Putin. It's like, unless you have like a real good plan, that's going to be like absolute fucking chaos in Russia. Like Putin has very much designed the way Russia operates as like, all eggs are in the me basket, and if I'm gone, shit's kind of fucked.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too of that then, because with the there was a very good article, I believe it was from Jacobin, about the economy, like Russia's economy. It was called like Putin's Keynesian, or like Russia's wartime Keynesianism or something like that.
I remember that.
And it really broke down the sense that then, because Russia never really Russia's oligarchic, monopolistic, clientelist state allows it to that they can run their economy on a wartime thing very efficiently, because no oligarch's going to want to tell Putin no, because also it benefits their business first off. And so it was a very interesting thing of seeing how then, because of how Russia is controlled in this way, that weirdly the war has not been able to affect them, or the sanctions have not been able to affect them the way that the West has anticipated, because it's so insulated around one dude. You know? So I don't know. That's enough. That's enough of the Russia-Ukraine stuff, if you ask me. Because I mean, the general thing is too, though, is that then back to the media thing, is that obviously this information war thing has been the thing that I think is allowed, though. Like, as you mentioned, then that like Politico's European or international, I guess, more or less targeted audiences and stuff like that.
Because I also know they own like a shit ton of media in Poland. And that's all kind of like opposition to PIS papers and stuff like that. But like, that means civic platform. It's all like it's another
it's Donald Tusk's party. It's still very right wing. They're just like a little bit less trad, I guess. Like the Catholicism's a little bit less on the nose.
It's they want civic platform, and then they want civic platform to be more like the CDU.
Yeah, exactly. They want they also want then the emphasis of PPP shit and just. But regardless of that. back to the thing of the two different beasts that exists of, you know, Springer Verlag, the German one, and then Springer, is it SE? Is the international one?
Yeah, they're an SE, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Societas Europa.
But the sense is that then, because now they're trying to... They're I don't know... I guess that they are technically in competition with things like New York Times, Washington Post...
I mean, New York Times fucking gunned for them after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So there is. I mean, they are in main competition with. I mean, Politico is also in the U.S. as well too. Yep. But I do think that there is a lot of space, especially in Europe, for a predominantly like conservative media landscape to exist on a level like that we don't really have on an international scale. Like Springer, I mean, yeah, okay, Rupert Murdoch, I mentioned earlier that he has a massive media empire that he invests in and around the world, but it's, if I'm not mistaken, mostly English language stuff. Yeah. And I mean, you have, okay, things like Bezos investing in things internationally, but it's mostly along the lines of Washington Post, Business Insider things that then are just translated into that language.
I need to look that up. I wonder if anywhere, I would imagine News Corp, which is Murdoch's group, I would imagine they would go South America.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, like anything that tries to like dominate America will also need to try and dominate.
Yeah, and I mean, America. Like, you know, speculation aside, I do think that then that we're finding ourselves in. I mean, remember too, Matthias Döpfner was someone who has personal connections and contacts with Elon Musk, and was one of the people who egged him on to buy Twitter so that then he could work with Elon Musk to create a quote-unquote free speech zone, which obviously just means give more platforms for the media outlets that Matthias Döpfner has control over. And I don't know. I mean, the thing that then I'm just so afraid of is after seeing the Berlin election is that then the local media actually has, at least in this country, a lot of impact of how things can then branch out politically at that, you know, like at your city or whatever. And although I'm not like the biggest fan of like elections, your local ones actually are where like some of the most radical politics can kind of happen. At least we see here, you know, depending on where you live. Yeah. But there is at least whenever I see like, you know, the sense that then on a national or international level things are so fucking chaotic and horrible. It's like then you see things of like what like unions or like local politics things are doing, and now it's like, oh, okay, that's like sick and like cool, and it's like not so. But also the counter of that then is that then now local media has become so much more weaponized against all of these things. You know, we're seeing, I mean, like in the UK especially, you don't need, I mean, that media landscape's always existed. And of, you know, all the anti rail worker strike things that are happening and stuff like that in the UK, you can very clearly see in the media how it's tilted that way. But there is, I don't know. There's a very weird conspiratorial right wing thing that then is controlled by a guy who has connections with some of the weirdest fucking people in the world. That has an opportunity to kind of just like set fire this like trend of fascism that we're currently seeing, of this like very pro-Atlanticist thing of and also remember too with Döpfner and, you know, positions towards things on Israel, like the reportings on things like that in Germany have gotten so much worse since, I mean, Bild's always been a problem, but they could like, even like, I can't think of like one decent media outlet in this country, even if it isn't Bid, because it's like they control the narrative of the public broadcaster so much. You know, how much of the public broadcaster picked up the New Year's Eve story? And shit like
you can drive the conversation.
Sorry that I'm just rambling here about it. These are things that then like, these have been my thoughts of the past like weeks now, just observing them, this landscape here, that then it's like, the narrative is controlled so much by so many different media outlets that look to be, I mean, everyone knows it, but then it's like, they're writing the narrative then at that point to them the thing that as much as they lie and do all this other bullshit, no one really, except for a couple of newspapers that no one really reads, are okay. Take it back. People read tuts, but are the national broadcasters not
so
questioning anything or whatnot. So
So I think like the New York Times piece on Julian Reichelt is still kind of like very illustrative of all this, because the probably one of the most important things in that was the like ability that Springer and its like various other wings had the ability to like create an omerta in this fucking country, of like things that just like is known by journalists but can't be said, even if they're not a Springer publication. And that's like very powerful as a tool, because again, one of the theses of this show is that like reporting across, or like one of my things that I will constantly insist upon is like reporting across multiple languages is dog shit. Like the level of understanding of like who and what various like kind of small stuff, like stuff that is deemed too small for like about French politics for a for an English speaking audience or whatever, but like can be kind of crucial if you're like on the left or want to have like a decent understanding of like France, is just like completely buried in French speaking news. Speaking of, actually, something that I want to talk about this episode because it is funny. I'm
already laughing.
A couple of days ago, Macron gave Jeff Bezos the Legion of Honor in like fucking secret.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He just like awarded it to him without ceremony. So like this was not reported on, and like I saw like a couple of people. I only saw one person in English tweet about it, and it was David Adler from Progressive International.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting, but I have not seen anyone else talk about this. I am going to Google it. I love you, David. Thanks for coming on the show. I am just going to double check this real quick. And I looked into it, like, the only people talking about it is just like Mediapart, like left-wing publications in France, and like completely buried. And like I also checked, like, okay, I want to check like tech journalism websites, like The Verge and stuff. Surely they would like kind of at least mention it. And like no French webs, it was like only French language publications, specifically kind of like left-leaning ones, because the whole thing was like he did this while like the entire nation is in uproar over the pensions and stuff, which we should talk about at some point on the show. And that's like, that just shows the ridiculous barrier that exists between little different Sprachraums or whatever, like little different speaking parts of the world, that like, with maybe the exception of America, because like a lot of people speak English. Well,
this is that thing that then I was showing you this week a project that I have to do for work, where I have to make collect a list of newspapers, as many as I possibly can from across the world, to simply just cover things better. And it's like genuinely amazing, the sense of like it's so like tap into like Pakistani Twitter now and just see how that's fucking going right now. It's like there's still a crisis going on with the
floods.
No, with the government being...
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's like the sense that there's all these things that are still... I mean, Peru is still going on, this and that and that. Yeah. But even then, it's like...
Should still be happening.
Yeah, but it's like, all these things that then is going to get very interesting of the things of tapping into the more local... protests or little things like, Jeff Bezos getting a secret, award and whatnot.
Macron securing his place in the rocket ships, basically.
Exactly. But or like right now that then there's massive waves of protests in Greece because of pension reform. Healthcare workers are going on strike and whatnot.
The strikes in the UK are still ongoing. There's also like huge waves of strikes happening in Finland as well. And
all I'm saying in the sense of this is that then if you have a means of controlling a lot of then the narrative on the local level of how the attitudes towards these things are, you can get results like we're getting here in Germany, a lot of this massive right-wing push. And I know that everyone knows this. I know that this is nothing... this is the most basic bullshit that then
we're relitigating manufacturing consent.
Yeah. This is the easy. This is nothing that then's. This is nothing that's new to anyone.
Yeah.
The thing that I just find that then is so very particularly interesting is that then Europe is finally having its moment, possibly of then maybe like you said, that he's bought like that Springer owns a bunch of media outlets in Poland. What's then, how is that? I mean, like, Poland is also like in a pretty turbulent time as well.
And there is definitely everything I've heard about how Springer interacts in Poland just reeks of fucking like German chauvinism.
Yeah.
Of like the like we know better than the German attitude.
Yeah, well that's
kind of overstate the German conservative attitude to Poland is still really weird.
German conservative attitude towards all of Europe is that Germany knows what's best for the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
So.
They respect maybe the Dutch. Maybe.
No, they don't respect the Dutch. I wouldn't respect the Dutch.
We don't, but that's because we're woke.
Yeah, exactly. We're woke. We hate the Dutch.
We hate the Dutch.
Yeah, I don't know. I again, like I said, these feel more like again, it was just a topic that kind of popped into my head that's been really bothering me. And we have not lazy. We have the chill setup here. Might as well have a little back and forth between friends to kind of say literally nothing about a thing that probably everyone already knows about.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so if I'm going to draw like a conclusion and a point to all of this, I would.
It is stay safe, drink dirty.
Yeah. Just stay safe, drink dirty. But no, like more specifically, I can't believe I don't have. They're not a selection of publications. There we go. So I did look it up, and like News Corp has nothing actually outside the English-speaking world.
Yeah,
primarily concentrated in US, Australia, where he's from, and the UK.
And a few in India, doesn't he have?
I didn't see anything. Huge one is he owns one of the big 5 publishing companies. He owns HarperCollins.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. Then we have Springer Group, which okay, here we go. Yeah, sure enough. So I would say it's definitely looking like the ambition is to be a European Murdoch, like pan-European.
Yeah, I'm not wrong then.
No,
right?
Absolutely not.
Because the thing is that then you have the New York Times has something slightly like an international, like an international, or CNN has just an international presence, but you're still represented as the name of your company.
Yeah.
In that country, CNN Turk, CNN, whatever, like BBC, whatever, India, BBC,
Al Jazeera,
Al Jazeera, whatever, yeah.
Ring a lot of Al Jazeera.
You're
Balkans.
not like you see the name Al Jazeera or BBC or CNN, and you get the idea. All right, that's what I'm getting this perspective.
Yeah,
having the ability to then kind of hide yourself behind a local, like an already established media, is something that then guarantee you that then you're going to see Springer doing in a lot of places who don't really know who Springer are.
That is, as far as I understand, that is how Springer entered the Polish market.
Yeah.
It is how they entered the Czech market as well. I just double checked, they have done that. And it is also kind of their machinations for entering the Austrian market as well. Which there's got to be more crossover there because of just like being in the same language speaking area. And again, it's also what they did with Politico Europe.
Yeah.
Politico Europe was not Springer, and now it is, and it's still just called Politico Europe. And that's very interesting, and that, I guess, makes sense as a strategy when you are dealing with like a multilingual space like Europe is. Just like use the established branding. Don't like try to make a unified brand. You can just make a unified message. That's fine. But like, I do think it is useful to look at how the German media market operates, how the like Springer publications operate, because I do think that Springer, when they buy something outside of Germany, like when they buy something new, they put their big toe in first. They ease into it more than like Politico.eu. You can probably track it just by listening to this podcast. over time, because this is where I do find a lot of the insane shit that goes on in Europe. They are very good at like collecting everything that happens in Europe and putting it into one place for Kieran to nom. But like, it did go from it being more or less exactly the same as what it was, which wasn't great beforehand. It was like still a neocon kind of like publication. But it then like moved into, I think we talked about at the beginning of this year, of like the fucking the guy from fucking like Spiked and Living Marxism, the Hungarian guy who talked about like Magyarophobia, and like Politico.eu put out this tiny piece kind of like being a little bit critical of it, but like 2 days after they just gave him free reign to write whatever.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing too that then kind of prompted why I was thinking of this, is that then aside with the anti-vaxxer Welt article was also then another Welt article that was like, we spoke with this whatever bullshit philosopher who said that actually the real enemy of democracy is the West itself.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because it obviously then is so that then they can be transphobic and every other regressive bullshit thing. Yeah. And, you know, do that whole thing while then pretending to be like, oh, actually, you know, see, we're for freedom, but we're for reasonable freedom, which are just, you know, the things that I like.
Yeah.
And, you know, all that other stuff that then I don't understand. I'm going to also say that that's bad and make that, you know, difficult and illegal.
But this is why, like, the German conservative respects the Dutch, because it was the Dutch who came up with the term oikophobia.
Ooh.
Remember, I feel like that is perfect for Springer shit. If they're doing the whole, like, the biggest threat to the West and democracy is the West itself, like, I need Bild or Welt or something to come out with oikophobia. I can see perfectly in my mind Ulf on the corner looking out at me from the headline, and then like ga da 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 oikophobia ga da 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 like it's gonna happen. And also I think there is one thing that is going to be like a big trend, or is becoming a bigger trend world over, of like conservative reaction that the Germans are going to be fucking the vanguard of, which is, and we talked about this in the election episode with Ted, which is like car ownership as identity.
Oh my god, yes. They fucking love that shit more than anything. And it's to the point where it like is literally counterintuitive.
Yeah.
Like everything about the like, you know, the hill that all these freaks want to die on is one that there's so much statistical evidence that is dumb, is Germany's lack of speed limit on certain parts of the Autobahn. And it's just like, in terms of fatality crashes, that it's just like, you know, wasting of resources.
But like this election in Berlin was so centered around,
I want to fuck my car.
Like,
please let me fuck my car and build more parking spaces so I can fuck my car in a bigger parking space.
No, but like basically the pedestrianization of Friedrichstraße was like CDU voters Chernobyl. Like that was like fucking you. Like, you've created a dystopia. This is too far gone.
Like, for what? What do you?
They're going to make like.
What are you gonna like? What are you doing driving down Friedrichstraße for? Like,
no, nothing.
What in your right mind do you think that that's like an okay decision to be made? You're a freak if you want to drive down that street.
They're going to make their own version of like the LGBT diversity flag with an Audi A8 on the front of it or something like that. It's going to be. They're doing car ownership as identity. It's like into really cars, fucking weird.
Being into cars is cool in the sense of if you're in cars because you view it as like a toy and you're a child, and that's, but
if you recognize that about yourself,
exactly, and there's nothing wrong about that. Like, I mean, I don't want to say that then it's like, you know, liking cars is like liking motorcycles or liking guitars, or like it's a hobby, and I can get why people find them interesting or whatever.
Yeah.
But why would you base your fucking personality and day-to-day life around something that you can't even do in the city?
Yeah.
You know, like, I get in the sense if you want to like have fun with the car and like go on like longer drives or this and that, whatever. But for day-to-day driving in the city, there's nothing more horrible that I could think of, especially living in this city, where having a car means that I'm getting wherever I need to go twice as long than if I just either walked or took the public transit or took my fucking bike.
Yeah.
You know, owning a car in the city is one of the most idiotic things that you can do, and they just love the idea of just being cucked by a machine.
Yeah. And I think Springer build particularly, this will be more build, and Welt will put like a little bit of an intellectual like sheen on the whole thing, but like they will 100% kind of like take that energy, as well as like all the stuff that we're seeing elsewhere in the world of like the New Jersey drivers in New York are like on purpose running over cyclists, or like the people in Britain who want to like run over like the Extinction Rebellion protesters.
Oh yeah, they love that shit. That's already here.
What's the group here that are blocking the roads again? The
Letzte Generation.
Yeah, the last generation. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like absolutely. Make it legal for me to run over last generation. Yeah. That's the new platform.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that's so stupid with it, is that they're like the Letzte Generation was like inconvenient. It's like that's the fucking point.
That's the point. That is the point.
You know, like I just it's whatever.
Ulf Polshardt needs to pass the law now that allows me to murder them with my car.
Yeah, I mean, if any European country is going to pass the vehicular manslaughter law,
no speed limit if a member of Last Generation's underneath your car.
Yeah,
like that will be the members of Last Generation are technically an autobahn now due to a new.
Actually, your car's allowed to murder 3 people a year.
Yeah. It'll be the fucking courts as well. There'll be the fucking psychopaths out in wherever, Wuppertal, or wherever the court is in this country.
Oh, yeah, I forget always.
They've been getting kooky with it, though. They've been, passing, they nearly, tanked the entire, Euro.
Yeah. They're insane. They're all, they all have the fucking politics of the AFD.
Yeah, because they all are, original AFD people.
Yeah, they're insane.
Back when, AFD meant something.
Back in my day, it meant being a libertarian economist with also being a raging neo-Nazi.
Yeah, I want to fuck the Deutschmark.
Oh, yeah. On that note, I guess. That's disgusting.
On the note of wanting to fuck the Deutschmark.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been the casual setup, and it's me, Kieran, and it's Nick, and it's Corner Späti, and the theme song is New Dawn by Melty Brains. I haven't said that in a long time, saying it now. And come check me out. I ordered myself some new t-shirts with dumb things on them.
You ordered new t-shirts?
Yeah.
What do they have on them?
Oh, okay, Nick. Do you remember? All right, extra 10 minutes in the episode. Do you remember there was a Microsoft program, 1995 Microsoft era, called 3D Movie Maker, Microsoft's 3D Movie Maker?
Possibly.
And it was just little kind of you could make short films by dragging little 3D figures around, and there's little characters and stuff. One of the greatest characters from it was a giant rat. It turned out his name is called Fabrice. So I got a t-shirt with the giant rat printed on it and Fabrice in the same font as Gucci underneath it.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's up my alley.
Yeah,
that rocks pretty hard.
And also I got a black t-shirt with the in white Helvetica text the new beautiful German copy that exists on the McDonald's ads here now. Big day, big tasty. I'm so hoping that t-shirt comes soon.
Hell yeah. I can't. I'm really excited for you. I'm happy.
Thank you. I don't buy a lot
of clothes. Glad that you and I know how to spend our money like adults.
I found a place that custom prints, screen prints one t-shirt concept and charges me very little for it. I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
I'm going to have all sorts of goofy t-shirts. So yeah, come check me out in Berlin. Just find me. With my new cool t-shirts.
Yeah, also, yeah, me too. Open invitation. Find me.
Find me.
Find me. I'm like what's it called?
Geocaching?
Geocaching, yeah.
No, yeah, come find us. It's a riddle. We gave you all the clues. You're just not listening to the episodes correctly.
Yeah, play the episodes backwards, maybe.
Yeah. We've probably mentioned all our favorite restaurants. They can probably find us.
I don't know. Can you?
Can you? Yeah, challenge. Yeah, no, actually don't.
Yeah, you have to listen to our episodes in a very specific way, which we've told you how to listen to.
Yeah, we gave you all the clues, Batman.
Yeah,
or whoever else.
Watch, someone knocks on our door and they're like, "Hi, I've solved the Corner Späti riddle."
Get out. Speaking of weird interactions, on my way over here, I'm not doxing anything, but there was one of the a Turkish wedding was happening where, you know, where they all have the, like, the motorcade and they're just, like, slamming their horns. Yeah, class. But, like, I was crossing the road in front of them and they're, like, literally right up against the pedestrian was the, like, lead white car with all the flowers on it and stuff. And I just gave them a big thumbs up. They fucking lost their mind. More beeping. Beeping intensified.
Hell yeah. You felt like the biggest man in Berlin.
Yeah, and I was just housing, like, an entire thing of Pringles, cheese, and onion, being like, it's the most special day of your lives, and here I am being a fucking dirtbag.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, my God. Beautiful. On that note, go into the world the way that Kieran went into this, you know, wedding caravan.
Yes, that's right. And we will talk to you next week. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.